Now I get to share stuff. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Up, there we go. Good, good. Nope, no, no, not that. This, there we go. All right, so let's get started. All right, so last time, if you remember, wait, hold on, let me see my recording. I hope everyone can hear me. Good, good. All right, so last time what we did was we dealt with the imperial system, and in length, right, we had different units. We also had this thing of weight, and we had this thing of capacity. Capacity was essentially just liquid volume. Again, this is all in the videos that are posted on YouTube, so you really should watch those if you haven't already. But here, what we're going to do now is we're going to consider the metric system. And what's interesting is I saw this in a TED Talk actually on YouTube. The United States and 2 other countries are the only 3 in the world that uses the imperial system. Every other country out there uses the metric system. Now, why are we still using the imperial system? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe we're too stubborn to change. I don't know. But anyway, the rest of the world uses the metric. Well, not the rest of the world, but most of the rest of the world uses the metric system. And that's what we're going to look at today. They have different units for length, mass, and volume. Different units. In fact, they have a lot of them. For length, it's based on the meter. And you get a lot of different units out of that, namely because what we can do is we can change the prefix. You'll see later on we can have the centimeter, millimeter, kilometer, things like that. That happens with the unit for length. And we also have the same thing for mass. For us, though, with mass in the metric system, it's gram. And there'll be other units as well, depending on the prefix, kilogram, milligram, things like that. Now, I should say this also, gram and weight are not the same thing, actually, because weight actually depends on force of gravity. Your weight here and your weight on the moon are not going to be the same because the force of gravity is different. For mass, however, they will be the same. However, since we're staying on Earth, mass and weight will be the same in that sense. But mass actually has to do with what something is made of. So in other words, mass does not take force of gravity into account. Just a little side note, that's all. And for volume, for us, we're going to use the unit liter. But again, there's going to be other units as well. There's kiloliter, centiliter, stuff like that. Okay, so we have that. Now, here are those prefixes. And they're really actually based on powers of 10, as you can see here. 10 times, that kind of thing. We're actually going to use this table, I guess so to say, to convert between the different units in the metric system. That's what we're going to do, as you'll see. And it's really going to be based on moving a decimal point. And we can do that because, again, the prefixes, as you can see, are based on powers of 10. Now, since in this class, all exams and everything are open book, you don't have to memorize this chart. I mean, you could memorize it using a device like this. I think that's actually how they taught me, at least, to remember it when I was in 7th grade, I want to say, so many years ago. But again, since everything in this class is open book, open notes, you don't have to memorize this. All right. So anyway, now I want to get into some examples with this. Okay. So the first one is going to be pretty basic. What we're going to do is we're going to go from meter to millimeters. Well, not just this one, but a few of them are going to be pretty basic. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, notice that since we have meter here, that's our unit here in the middle. If we had a gram or a liter, same idea. In other words, there's no extra prefix here. We don't have any of these prefixes over here. So this stays in the middle over here. Now, milli, right? Millimeters, right? As you can see, that's 1, 2, 3 units to the right. So we're here at meter. Milli is 1, 2, and 3 units to the right. So because it's 3 spaces, I should say, actually. Because it's 3 spaces to the right, what's going to happen is this. We're going to take the decimal point. Let me just get to the pen. We're going to take the decimal point here, 1 meter. We're going to take that 1. We're going to move its decimal 3 spaces to the right, inserting 0 as placeholders. So we have 1, 0. As you can see, we have another space to the right, that's 2, and another to the right, as you can see, and that's number 3. So we moved, again, 3 spaces to the right. So in other words, we get 1,000. So we get 1,000 millimeters and 1,000 millimeters. So 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. Okay, that's pretty good. So again, it's just moving a decimal point. I mean, in reality, we're multiplying by a power of 10. And that's what's nice about the metric system. And what's nice about our, I guess, number system is just that amounts to moving a decimal point. All right, let's do another example. So here we have 1 meter. We want to know how many centimeters that is. You might already know the answer to that. But again, what do you do? Sorry, let me get back to the laser pointer. So we're here at meter, right? We want to go 1, 2 spaces to the right. Meter, right? We have 1, 2 spaces to the right. So kind of like in the previous example, we're going to move the decimal point 2 spaces to the right. So we have 1. Okay, we're going to have 1 space. We put a 0 as a placeholder. Okay, we're going to move another space to the right. We have another 0 as a placeholder. So in other words, what we're going to get is we move 2 spaces to the right. We get 100. So we have 1 meter is 100 centimeters, as you can see. Okay. So we have 100 centimeters. Okay, so that's the second example. Here's example 3. This one's going to be a little bit different. And why is that? Well, here we start at meters. Now we're going to move to the left. So now we're going to move to the left, right? Here we're moving 1, 2, 3. 3 spaces to the left. So that decimal is moving 3 spaces to the left. Here's our 1. Okay, so let's do that. 1 space. Actually, wait, excuse me. Let me just fix that. There we go. There we go. Okay, I made it too big. I drew too much, in other words. So here we have 1. Now notice after 1, excuse me, there's no 0 here because we moved it only one space. So we have 0.1 now. So now we have 2. And now we have 3. So by moving it 3 spaces to the left, we get 0.001. So I'll say that again. Since we moved the decimal 3 spaces to the left, right, we get 0.001. So we have 1 meter is 0.001 kilometer, which is the same thing as this, right? Because this is the 10 spot, 10th place, 100th place, 1000th place. So this is the same thing as dividing by 1,000, is what I'm saying. So we're dividing by 1,000. It's the same thing as what we're doing here. So either answer is right. Good, good. Okay, now, so that was 3 examples. Here, let's do another one, but first I did this with the other class, so let me just do one thing quickly. Let me just pause the video for a second.